Judgment is wrong. Period. Where's the blood? The thing is, right? Judging someone isn't really a right you have. Right? And as a religious person would believe only God is good and only God judges people. And I made this point in my ratio and proportions video, where it's like the difference in morality between me and another human being is very, very minute compared to the difference in morality between me and God, because God is perfect and we are all sinners. Doesn't matter to what degree, doesn't matter in what aspect. We're all shitheads, right? You've sinned, I've sinned. You've done bad shit, I've done bad shit. You've been a bad person sometimes, I've been a bad person sometimes. What really matters is that you want to keep improving and you want to be a good person more than you have been a bad person by a great margin, right? And you have to become self-aware of whether you are a good person or a bad person. You have to, oh my god, there is a lizard in my room. Does the lizard know we're in Maharashtra? Only 2 people get that joke. It's because some Maharashtrian dude did weird things with a lizard. Anyway, and that kind of scared me, you know. What was I talking about? Yeah, basically, you shouldn't judge people, right? Don't just judge that someone's, uneducated because their hair is purple. Sure, it's a sign they're uneducated because most purple-haired niggas are retarded. But just because that doesn't mean you completely just throw out the possibility that they can be a highly sophisticated individual with just a liking for purple dye. Could happen. We all have weird quirks. We all have weird likings. But the thing is, right, judging and actively noticing patterns and having common sense is different. I don't know why I'm tripping so much. I've misspelled a lot of words today. I've recorded about 3-4 videos today. Anyway, the thing is, right, how do I say this? The thing is, you have to be in your right mind and you have to determine whether a person is safe or not. And you do this by having common sense. You do this by having intelligence, by making good assumptions, by making calculated assumptions. Not just, looking at them and being like, this guy looks weird. So that's coded into your biology, of course. But, as humans, I believe we have the ability to surpass what's coded into our biology. That's why we have a moral compass. You ever see an animal give a shit about another? Right, dogs just violate each other wherever they want. And that's what makes us civil, that's what makes us human, that's what makes us different compared to wild animals. But just because you don't judge doesn't mean you don't evaluate. Right? Don't judge someone for being homosexual, don't judge someone for, being whatever. But if being X means you have tendencies to hurt me, of course I'm not gonna let you near me. That would be quite dumb of me. That would be unsafe of me. And if I can't protect myself, then I do not deserve to have a family to protect. And I never wanna have to go through a thought process, a train of thoughts like that based on real life evidence. That's why we stay away from bad influences, from bad people. But here's the thing, right? And one of my close friends, he has, debated me heavily on this topic. And it's like, you become just like the people you hang out with, right? I'm an avid believer of that, because when you give someone so much time of your day, so much space in your mind, of course you're bound to turn out a little bit like them. But he had this argument where people have, drunk near him, smoked near him, his friends are, doing all sorts of stuff, but he doesn't do all of that weird stuff and he never will. And the thing is, right, it goes back to that same quote, the man who blames others has a long way to go. The man who blames himself is on the right path. And the man who blames no one is already at the end. So yeah, don't blame anyone, don't judge anyone, but keep yourself safe. Be polite enough to deny something without, making it a whole big deal, right? Because people would rather have you reject something than accept it and later on start bugging and, being weird about it. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and I will be wrong, I know, and I will change my mind a lot. And it's because I am at different positions of life throughout my life. So of course I will change my mind. Of course I will have differing opinions than I did in the past. Of course, I'll admit I was wrong, because I'm not a perfect dude. God is perfect. I'm like so far from perfect. It's insane. I will be wrong. I will be wrong a lot of times, and we all need to accept that, because I'm only 16. You might be watching this when you're 30 or 40, whatever, and we're still going through life, and the essence of life is just being wrong, figuring out what went wrong, and keep living a bit wiser, a bit more knowledgeable. And that's just life. That's what life truly is. You can't keep bugging yourself about failing, about being wrong and shit. Just keep going. Just keep going ahead. Just don't judge people. Don't have negativity in your heart. Love the sinner, but hate the sin. You know what I'm saying? Hate the weirdness, not the weirdos, because they're all people just like you are. Now, is it hard to do in practice? Of course, yeah. I'm not like, Cliff. The Cliff Connectly. I'm not like him. I won't ever, go and have an easy conversation, a natural conversation with a prisoner who used to molest children or whatever. And, it's because, I feel unsafe. It's because he's done all those things. But at the end of the day, we're both human, and our moralities compared to God don't really matter. We're all in the same boat. But just because we're in the same boat doesn't mean I'm gonna be sitting next to you. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying, buddy? If you get what I mean, drop a like. If you don't, drop a comment. I definitely won't reply. Definitely. I'm getting kinda sleepy now, so I'm gonna say goodnight. I don't wanna say goodbye to you, so I'm just gonna say goodnight. That's the last song on Graduation. W reference, W memory, WWW. Good night.